Namaste. Today we have Shri Dilip Mehta ji at World Hindu News Hindu Talk Show. I would like to quickly introduce you to Shri Dilip Mehta ji. He is a MS Master of Science in Physics from Northeastern University, Boston, and is ex-president of Hindu Mahasabha of America, Alaka Hindu Congress of America, HMSA. He is an educator by profession and ex-VHPA chapter president, ex-governing council member, and one of the founder of VHPA camp in Houston. He has rectified many newspapers, publication on Hinduism, and educated editors. He started Hindu Club at University of Kansas in 1966. One of the co-founders of Chinmaya Mission USA, a subject matter expert and contemporary analyst on Hinduism and Dharma, with over 6 decades of selfless service experience toward Hindu Dharma sustainability, preservation and protection. He has immensely contributed to multiple Hindu organizations, motivated and involved thousands of Hindus worldwide towards volunteering for Hindu cause, issues and empowerment. He is a regular speaker at various regional, national and international forums. Dilip ji, I would like to first thank you for being at World Hindu News Hindu Talk Show. It's a privilege to have an intellectual and ideologue like you at Hindu Talk Show.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to give this interview.
Thank you. I would like to start with when did you and how you got involved with Hindu activity, Hindu organization and the Hindu cause?
From very childhood, I had that instinct and also inclination about our Sanatan Dharma. My grandmother used to tell me all kind of story from Mahabharata and Ramayana. So I developed some kind of affection or affinity, whatever you call it, for our Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Then from the high school onward, I kept myself busy to understand and learn Sanatan Dharma. Used to meet various Katha teller, some Swami, some Brahmin priest, and discuss all the time with them what is the meaning of this and what's the meaning of this, trying to understand with my limited knowledge and limited capacity what exactly the Sanatan Dharma is offering to me and to the whole mankind.
Thanks, Dilip ji. As Hindu Mahasabha, you have been with Hindu Mahasabha of America since a decade now, reaching. What's the mission and objective of Hindu Mahasabha of America?
Well, in America, we have so many temples and so many Hindu organizations providing the spiritual need of Hindus. But we found out that there is no any organizations which is involved in the political process. Unless we involve ourselves in the political process, creating the political pressure group, we always will be in trouble. As you see, handful of leftists and communists were able to stop present our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit United States when he was just a chief minister. Similarly, handful of these leftists were able to stop Prime Minister Narendra Modi's video conference at the University of Pennsylvania. Couple of Hindu professors were able to cancel the contract of Dr. Subramaniam Swami at Harvard University. Similarly, the books written against Hinduism, also against our deity, the main reason is most of the Hindus are not involved. So we decided that we have to have some organization which gives attention to these type of problems. So couple of people we decided, okay, let's start this Hindu Mahasabha of America, involving mostly political and social activities, to make aware of all Hindus about their political rights. Because without political, we will be in big trouble. As you see, even in our Shastra, all incarnations were in Kshatriya, they were all politicians. They played various games, political games. Not only that, our old rishis, they were advisor to the kings, so they were highly involved also. That is the reason we thought we should have organizations which brings the political and social awareness to our Hindus. That is the one reason we don't have this non-profit organization. Because if you have non-profit organization, then we cannot directly take the part in political process in the sense that we cannot endorse any particular candidate. So we decided not to have the non-profit status. So this is the reason we started Hindu Mahasabha of America.
You mean the tax exempt status?
No, we don't have that.
Right.
No.
So that makes it independent of having the political
Exactly.
activities for
Yes,
Hindus.
For Hindus.
Thank you, Dilip ji. Next question is, makes it some of the leaders we talk, they say that Hindus have identity crisis, and there is somewhat a diminutive personality and self-centered ideology. What's your commentary on that?
Yes, my commentary is Hindu as an individual being, intelligent, sincere, working hard, but somehow we lack collective consciousness. If you look at the history, handful of the foreign invaders were able to conquer such a vast country and able to rule us for last 1,000 years because we somehow lost collective consciousness. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean for collective consciousness? Means if something happens to any Hindu in anywhere in the world and we feel pain, that I would call collective consciousness. Let me give you one example. When a federal building in Oklahoma was bombed, in every church there was a prayer in America. But when there was the stock exchange blast in Bombay where hundreds of Hindus died, there were no prayer at the temple, nothing. Majority didn't feel that much. There was no much reaction. One reason is, according to my opinion, is right from the childhood we are taught the self-centered ideology that we have to have Paramatma Prapti, Atma Kalyan, spiritual awareness, yoga and meditation, bypassing all the issues and challenges we face as a Hindu society. That exactly the message of Bhagavad Gita is. In the first chapter, if you look at it, Arjuna was facing the very serious issue. So he tried to escape from that issue and started talking about spirituality. He says he would go to Himalaya, meditate, and attend the mocks. This is nothing but escapism. Bhagavan Krishna calls it infatuation when he opened the first time his mouth in Bhagavad Gita. So these Hindus are constantly bombarded with this kind of self-centered ideology. So never, very few guru like Guru Shivaji's Guru Swami Ramtirth created Shivaji to fight on the national basis. So we lack, because of this self-centered ideology we are taught from the early childhood, we lack the collective consciousness, and that is harming Hindu society. Handful of people can easily beat us. Handful of people can easily invade and conquer us because we don't have that collective consciousness.
Thank you, Dilip ji, for that insightful opinion. What exactly, as you said about Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what is the exact the message of Gita today, and why in some cases it has been presented in a distorted form to Hindus?
Well, it is distorted form, it is presented because, again, it is nothing but escapism. Those who are presenting the distorted form, they don't want to face the issues. When Arjuna was facing issue, Bhagavan Krishna says, no, you cannot run away from the hard reality of life. You have to fight with the Bhishma Pitama, your own Guru, Dronacharya. You have to fight it because you are Kshatriya and they are on the enemy line. So you don't have other choice. Actually, if you really ask one simple question to ourselves, if Arjuna would not have refused to fight, there wouldn't be any Bhagavad Gita. So the main purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to get ready to fight against injustice and unrighteousness. That is the main message. Unfortunately, that message was forgotten or distorted, and we all talk about the controlling Indriya and doing the spiritualism and spiritual awareness and spiritual enlightenment and spiritual upliftment. That is not the main aim of Gita. See, if you have a chariot without horse, no matter how much you do the decoration, all the gold and diamond you put on that, it has no value. We cannot use that. There is no utility value for that. Without aim. Similarly, without main aim given in Bhagavad Gita, no matter whatever philosophy we talk, it has no much meaning without aim. Talking about Gita, so many aspects are distorted. For an example, in the 12th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna is talking about Sarva Dharma Sambhav. Now here Dharma is not this kind of religion. Actually it's a wrong translation. Religion is the belief system. Dharma is not. And there is no translation. Besides, there was no other belief system. There was only Vedic Dharma was there. So this Sarva Dharma Sambhav means there were 4 Varna Dharma defined. Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya and Brahmin. Bhagavan Krishna tells us to keep the Sambhav for all the 4 Varna. Then he talks also about enemy and friend, Sambhav. But he doesn't talk about the Sambhyavar. Means same bhav, same feeling, but not the same dealing. Dealing has to be different. Unfortunately, that concept is twisted and we are told to accept the enemy as your friend and, deal with the same way. No. For an example, in my house, if I have my wife, my mother and my sister, I keep Sambhav for all three. I see the vision of Paramatma in all three. But my dealing has to be different because the relationship I have with my wife, I cannot have with my mother and sister. Similarly, Sambhav for enemy and friend, fine, but our dealing should be different. Unfortunately, the concept is totally twisted. Same way Bhagavan Krishna goes through all this philosophy, Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. That is to quieten Arjuna's mind, to explain him the real philosophy of life. While fighting, you may kill somebody because you are fighting what is called the Dharma youth. So you must control your mind, because if we don't control emotions and we try to perform our duty, then you won't be able to perform with great efficiency. So that is the reason he gives all kind of philosophy to control the mind. But the whole concept is distorted. We are told to control the mind, to control the ego, and clean up the mind. One of my friends asked me, hey, I conquer my ego, my mind, I clean my mind is completely now ultra shining. What I do with it? See, again, there is no aim. Gita defines particular aim, very definite aim. And if we don't follow the rest of philosophy, just like decorating chariot without horse, it has no much meaning. Then we are told, oh, we need a guru to explain Gita. There was no guru sitting between Krishna and Arjuna. I am not undervaluing or undermining the importance of guru. Please don't get me wrong. Gurus are called Bhagwan. Whenever in Upanishad, Shishya address Guru, they say Bhagwan. But without Guru also one can achieve. And that is why this Bhagavad Gita was introduced for the common people. Another argument was done is, we need someone to explain the Gita because these common masses cannot understand that, and that is wrong. If we treat civilization as a dumb and ignorant and less intelligence, then we create those kind of civilization. Like here in America, every child is brought up with in technological society. So they know how to fix the car, how to fix window or something, because they are brought up in. Similarly, if we bring up our civilization in intelligent platform, in intelligent way, on intelligent platform, then civilization will be intelligent. I have talked to rickshawala, ordinary, totally illiterate people. When I talk about Bhagavad Gita, they perfectly understood. So we have a wrong notion that, oh no, we have to do, this way, we have to go in a very simple manner, we have to explain. No. We can explain Bhagavad Gita to anybody, provided we know exactly what Bhagavan Krishna means.
Thank you, Dilipji. That was very insightful and far-sighted knowledge our audience have. Next question is, Dr. Conrad is decolonizing of Hindu mind. What's your, he has written a book on it. What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, see, 1,000 years of our slavery, and especially last 2 centuries, it created inferiority complex in us. So much inferiority complex that our Dharmacharya introduced Gita as Bible of Hindu. They forget that Gita is Gita of Hindu, not Bible of Hindu. Same way, whenever they explain Bhagavad Gita, they give quotation from other scripture. That means they are telling us that whatever Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita is true because other people in other scripture also say. So we need the certificate from others. That means the Bhagavan Krishna knows the final authority in Gita. Some other people, because we need their certificate. That is out of inferiority complex. Even if you look at the day-to-day life, practical life, if ask some Hindu, how are you? He says, Uppar wala ki mehrbani hai. Now, Uppar wala is not our concept. Bhagavan Krishna tells that I am in the heart of my all devotees. See, Uppar wala concept came from the Abrahamic faith. It's not ours. But because of this slavery generated inferiority complex, we started adopting their method. Same thing happens during the birthday or marriage. We cut the cake. Suppose the Western civilization, instead of cutting cake, if they had a ceremony of cutting watermelon, then we would have cut the watermelon at the birthday party or marriage. Same way in extinguish all these candles, instead of that, if Western society had a squeezing lemon, I mean you have a 15th birthday, you squeeze the 15 lemon, then we will be squeezing the lemons. It's a blind imitations. This blind imitation is the effect of colonization of Hindu mind. We have to get out of that. We have to decolonize our mind. We have to think or study our Shastra not with the glasses of others, with our own glasses we have to look at through. And that is the meaning of decolonization. Get rid of that inferiority complex.
Thank you, Dilip ji. My next question to you is the Hindu Mahasabha of America, the activities Hindu Mahasabha of America implement. What is the social and political impact? And the work charter says of alternate Hindu movement creation. What does that imply?
Well, at present we are a small organization. What we started is around 14th August we observed the Hindu Memorial Day because it was a partition day. First time in the history our motherland was divided. Otherwise, throughout the history, culturally we were always united. Millions of Hindus were slaughtered, died. So, to observe, we call it the Hindu Smriti Din, means Hindu Memorial Day, in this memory. We invited some 80-85 years of both men and ladies to give their experiences, what exactly happened in the partition, because they ran away. How they ran away? Some Hindus argue, okay, that was the past. Why you want to look at the past? I think one Western thinker, whether it's a Spanish or American, I don't know, I don't remember.
George Sanatana.
George
Sanatana.
He said that those who forget the past are condemned to repeat the past. So we should never forget past. We must remember what happened in the past, and we pledge ourselves that we will do whatever we can do up to our capacity, that we never will allow such genocide will ever happen again.
Thank you, Dilip ji. And you have personally met Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, when he was in United States and spent some time with him. What was your interaction and observation of that meeting?
Well, my observation and interaction is a very stable-minded, very smart. He knows exactly, and he is working at the ground level. The ground reality he knows very well, because without knowing the ground reality, all other our big work will fail. we were going to doctor's house for dinner, and I was sitting with him in the backside. That time, Honorable Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister of India. And the impression was such that Kashmir was going to give away by Congress party. Of course, that was a wrong impression. No party has ever thought to give up the Kashmir. But then I was worried. Similarly, there are so many things happening in India against the Hindus. So I asked him, I said, look, Narendra Bhai, I cannot sleep in the night. What is happening to Hindus? He simply says in Gujarati, first let me tell you in Gujarati, he says, Shanti thi sui jao, nothing will happen. Kai banwanu nathi. Means sleep silently. Nothing will happen. Don't worry about it. Means he has so much confidence. And same thing happened. Last 12 years, non-stop bombardment going on throughout the world on him about these 2002 riots. But he never lost his cool, never lost his stability of mind.
Thank you, Dilip ji. And my next question is, in the philosophical part of Dharma, who are the three individuals who contributed towards your interest and inclination for the Dharma?
Well, first I have to thank Swargastha Swami Chinmayanandji. In 1964, I attended 1 week camps. We were staying there. That time he was very young and he was special for campers. 4 to 5 hours discourses, and then night time was the general lecture. So I learned a lot from him. Then he started coming to United States. I was in Cambridge, living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we are told to arrange his lecture at Harvard and MIT. For 3 years I worked for him, provided all kind of facility including lunch. So he used to tell me jokingly, my boy, you entered in my heart through your food, through your dishes. He influenced me a lot. Second was Swami Bhashyanand. He was head of the Vedanta Society in America. He used to live in Chicago. He's no longer now. I learned a lot from him because he has a thorough knowledge of Veda and Upanishad. Very, very high level of knowledge. Third was Swami Tilak, which is not known much. I stayed with him, I spent some time with him, and I learned also a lot of him, the philosophical part of Hindu Dharma.
Thank you, Dilip ji. And what are your top 5 requests for Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi?
Well, the first request is, of course, is everybody a request, get rid of the corruption. Second, awake the people to have a national consciousness, that they work for the nation. Third, stop the slaughtering of our useful animals like cows, because millions of cows every year have been slaughtered, so we have a scarcity of milk and some other stuff. Fifth, but not least, this is the most important part, is make India first-rate nuclear power. The reason is, without power, nobody cares. Nobody will look at even us. Let me give you an example. In 1954, there was a Geneva Conference on Vietnam. Communist North Vietnam, they sent a delegation, and Mr. Lee Doctor was the main representative. He extended hand to John Foster Dulles, then Secretary of USA. John Foster Dulles refused to shake hand with him. 17 years later, sorry, it wasn't the Vietnamese, it was a Chinese delegation, the Chinese leader. 17 years later in 1971, Richard Nixon, then president, begged for invitation. And it was so much coverage about his visit to China, because China showed the power. 54 United States refused to shake hands with the Chinese leader. 71 they were begging for invitation. This is the effect of power. Without power we are nowhere. Not only that, India was the richest country in the world, but we forgot importance of power. Invaders came and looted and robbed and killed us, everything they did. So without power, economic damage is immense. So we must have a power to protect our people, our economic interest.
Thanks, Dilip ji. And next question is, in America we are seeing an increasing cases of temple vandalism, and there was a graffiti at Virginia, and lot of books have been written with defamatory and biased content. What is the why the so much 3 million around Hindus we have in America? Why the society is not able to counter such incidents? Other is thing they don't know, they don't want to know. What is your opinion on that?
Well, as I say, that we don't have that collective Hindu consciousness. All the temples, most of them going, is to get some kind of a spiritual satisfaction. And nobody wants to get involved in the issues. Issues are facing everybody. We are all facing the same issue. But nobody wants to get involved. If my temple is safe, who cares for others? But we got to get together. Once we show the strength of unity, everything will be stopped. And I really appreciate the effort taken by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. They started the meeting of or conference of all the directors and keeper of Hindu temples. Big conference they have every year now, right?
Right.
Every year they have a conference. They have some kind of a connection, so that each temple, connect with other. So I think that activity will help. But main thing that every Hindu living in America or anywhere in the world must realize, unless we are united, unless we have a strong Hindu consciousness, we will keep on suffering.
Thanks, Dilip ji. And the next question is that we said Dharma Rakshati Rakshita. Those who protect Dharma are being protected by it. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, let me give the incident from Mahabharata war. When Karna's will got stuck into the land because of Parsuram curse, he got down to fix it. That time Bhagavan Krishna ordered Arjuna, kill him. Karna protested. He said, why? I am without arms. It is against your Kshatriya Dharma to kill me. Bhagavan Krishna says, where was your Kshatriya Dharma when Draupadi was being stripped? Why did you keep quiet? Why didn't you raise voice? Dharma you didn't protect, the same Dharma is not going to protect you. So all Hindus should understand the protection of Dharma is the utmost priority. If we don't protect our Dharma, Dharma is not going to protect us. And it happened. We fail to protect our own temples, That is why that Dharma didn't protect us. No matter how many prayers we do, no matter how much we know about all these Vedas and Upanishads and Gita, unless we protect the Dharma, all these Gita, Upanishads, Vedas and all these are not going to protect us.
Thank you, Dilip. And we generally hear in most of the organizations, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. What is your commentary on that?
Well, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, second life is something like that. Dharma Isa Yathavach. Means Ahimsa Paramo Dharma is true, but at the same time, to protect the Dharma, to do Hisa to protect Dharma is better than Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Unfortunately, the second life, nobody talks about that second line. Everybody is talking Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, and that is taken as an escapism, because we don't want to fight all the challenges we face. We don't want to do that. That is the reason we just accepted Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. It is not. Otherwise, Bhagavan Krishna would not have asked Arjun to get up the Gandiv and start killing your enemies. So, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, we must analyze in its proper perspectives. But to protect the Dharma, we have to do Ahimsa. There is no other choice.
Thank you, Dilip. There is a Satyagraha protest, most of the organizations. What's your commentary on the way to achieve political objective with the Satyagraha way of doing protest?
Well, I don't think the Satyagraha will give that much in return. Let's take example of our Shastra. When Bhagwan Ram wanted his Sita back, he didn't go into Ravana's palace and sit down in the front of Ravana's palace and started doing the Satyagraha, and then the medical team came and started checking his blood pressure and all this. No, he didn't do that Satyagraha. Ma Durga came to kill Mahasabha. She didn't sit down in front of Mahasabha and did any Satyagraha and tried to explain non-violent way. Oh, you are my son, why are you doing this? Let's be nice and be a nice boy. No. As soon as she came in one stroke, she finished him. So this Satyagraha business is not there in our Shastra. General Patton used to say, you don't die for your country, let your enemy die. We can extend to the Satyagraha. We should not starve, let our enemy starve. Why should we starve? So this is my opinion about Satyagraha. Satyagraha and all those, Ahimsa, wrong sense of Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, all these concepts are not there in our Shastra. They are all distorted concepts.
Thank you, Dilip. What do you think about yoga and meditation?
Yoga and meditation is only for the mental health and no doubt the spiritual unfoldment. But yoga and meditation, when rishis used to do too, but at the same time they were very powerful. They were living in the forest, deep forest, far away from civilization. Yet, no demon or no any animal, wild animal, would dare to attack. And majority of them, their ashram was full of deadly weapon system. For example, Vasishtha had the Brahmdand. Vishwamitra came with a huge army, but with the Brahmdand he was able to defeat them. Similarly, all rishis were powerful. They were all doing yoga and meditation, no doubt. They were on a very high level. When they were in a samadhi, they gone beyond this world. Total identification with the Supreme Self. But when they are coming down on the earth, coming down to the day-to-day reality, they exercise their power. They knew it's a different plane of consciousness, it's a different world. So yoga and meditation, fine, It takes you a higher level of consciousness. But day-to-day life, we call sansar. We don't live on that higher plane of consciousness. So our rules and roles are different when living in sansar. The rules which is applied, that highest level of yoga, that is the samadhi, same rules we cannot apply to sansaric level. So that is the biggest mistake we are making. Yoga and meditation should be there, no doubt. For the spiritual unfoldment, that gives you more strength to the mind, and more which is called the Vivek Buddhi, means a discrimination power, what is right and what is wrong. About little bit extra comment, all these rishis are full of deadly weapon system like Vasishtha has. Valmiki is also, because Ram army attacked at suddenly. The Laukus, 2 teenagers, they didn't have a time to shop for weapon system. So they must have, the Valmiki must have provided all these weapon system, and must be very complex, because 2 teenagers can fight against the mighty army. That means the weapon system they use must be very complex and well advanced. And Valmiki provided them. Similarly, Parshuram bow, nobody could lift except Bhagwan Ram. So you can see that our old rishis had the deadly weapon system in this arm. So according to our Hindu Shastra, all our Swami's ashram must be full of ICBM, F-16, F-23 or whatever. An ICBM with the nuclear warhead, and their personal guns should be so powerful that nobody can lift it. This is according to Hindu Shastra. Don't call me militant or fanatic. This is given in our Shastra. They were all powerful. They were totally control of our Kshatriyas. When the Kshatriya didn't didn't follow the right path, Parshuram killed so many. So powerful Parshuram was. It is a time that all our Dharma Guru and all they, beside yoga and meditation, understand the value of power, Shakti. Look at all our God and goddesses. They were different dress and different weapon systems in their hands. One of my friends in Facebook says they were not in the fancy dress competitions. They were there to protect the righteousness.
Thank you, Dilipji. Indeed, an insightful update on the sadhu and sannyasis we used to have. You say ideological differences and ideological damage is worse than political damage. What's your commentary on that? Worse than economic damage too?
See, political and economic damage can be repaired. Because some we have now we have a very good politician like Narendra Modi. He started doing his job, started uniting whole India. Similarly, economy also damage. We can do it something about it. Because if the right people comes in the government control, they can change the whole scenario. But when ideological division started, then it's very difficult to change it. You see, they say that India is a diversified nation. Actually, it wasn't, but it was made diversified by force or by some other means. Once you change the ideology, your entire loyalty and concern for the society changes. Suppose there is one major society we belong to, excuse me, and it has a different ideology than ours, then naturally we don't have that much affection or affinity for them. That exactly happens in India too. Because so much ideological difference is there. So we constantly in struggle, constantly fighting ourselves, fighting with our ideological battle all the time. So ideological damage is much worse than the political and economy. Political and economy damages are on the surface, not inside.
Thank you, Dilipji. And one of the last question to you is, we have so many goddesses in Hinduism. What does that imply, and what is your opinion on that?
Well, just like electricity is manifesting through so many appliances. Each appliance has different work, different role to play, or it gives the different utility. Some are big, some are small. For example, our stove gives much more heat than the bulb. But functioning energy behind that is the same, that's electricity. Similarly, the Supreme Self, the Supreme Consciousness, Supreme Energy manifests through the different manifestations, and these are all these Devata, they are same. Behind that it is the same energy. Depending on what point and time we need, the manifestation is there. For an example, we worship goddesses, for Saraswati, Lakshmi, Durga, Kali. Saraswati is goddess of knowledge. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth, and Durga is the power of symbol of power. All three we need. See, all three are different manifestations, but working energy behind it is the same. So the Supreme God has to manifest into different way. And that's what our God and goddesses are. It is the same. Bhagavan Krishna tells in Gita, whoever worship the Yaksha, Kinnar or other gods ultimately come to me.
Thank you, Dilipji. That was my last question, and I appreciate you being at World Hindu News Hindu Talk Show and updating our audience on vivid issues impacting Hindus globally at social, dharmic, economic, political levels. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. It was my pleasure to share my thoughts with all the readers of the Hindu News.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste to everybody.